Why, hello, Flosstube. It is Sunday, and this is the last day of a 3-day weekend for me that I created for myself. Because we didn't have off on Veterans Day, but I said, you know what? I want that day off. But this is the only day of the 3-day weekend that I'm getting to kind of be completely alone and hermit. So that means a video for you guys. I have a lot to show and then not a lot to show at the same time. And I'm going to kind of bring back a little of my what I've been really into section. And we're just going to dive in and have some fun with it. For starters, I have notes. I never make notes, but today I have notes. So let's do progress first. Okay. Last time you guys saw me, I was working on this piece, which I honestly got a little obsessed with in October and did not work on all of the different pieces that I had planned to work on during Dark October. So this piece got a lot of love, and you know what? That's okay. Plans are made to be broken. I am doing this piece in the called for threads on a piece of Picture This Plus Bramble, one of my favorite neutral fabrics. And here it is. This is where I've gotten to. I absolutely love it. I love the colors on this one. It is just like autumn on a thread drop. It's gorgeous. Excuse the wrinkles. Oh, hey, do you know why the coloring is a little bad? Because Emily did not turn on her ring light. It's plugged in. It's not on. There we go. There we go. That's better. And for those of you that do Flosstube that have not invested in a cheap ring light from Amazon, this is a good show of what a difference it can make in showing colors. Because doesn't that look much more true? It does. Okay, so there's that. I will say I love this ring light. They're all pretty much made very cheaply, and I would not leave one plugged in all the time because they are made cheaply. I have had to change out in the USB adapter plug on mine to a new one because it stopped working really quickly, and that seems to be the case on anything that I buy off of Amazon in one of those off brands. So I actually just purchased several of the Amazon Basics ones of those and keep them on hand because they just kind of stopped working. I don't know what that's about, but because I know that there's something electrical awry, I try not to leave any of that kind of stuff plugged in. With the exception of my grow light over there, but I immediately switched out things on it, and it's fine. And I'll show you some plants at the end that the growth of which show why I'm just like, it's fine, because they love it so much. Did not put that back in there. It's okay. Quick interlude. I am having some neck pain, and I know it's because I'm 41 and I slept weird on my pillow, but I slept weird on my pillow a couple of days ago, and Emily would usually take some naproxen and she would make it go away and move on with her life. But I'll dive into very quickly some medical updates on Emily, where my doctor last Monday told me to stop taking naproxen. I can take Tylenol, but I can no longer take that type of drug that's hard on my stomach. So after I film this, I will probably take some Tylenol and get out my heating pad and be sad that I can't take naproxen because it just fixes everything. But anyway, so the last time I filmed, I said that I had some minor medical stuff going on, because it is minor. I'm, nothing extremely detrimental. I'm not dying. Everything's fine. What it is some gastrointestinal issues. So for the past few years, yes, years, I have been dealing with what they call dysphagia. And that means that I have issues swallowing sometimes. I will be eating. It's very, very embarrassing when you're out to eat with friends or a group of people, but I will be eating and I will feel food like just lodge, and I'll usually get hiccups, and it's not going anywhere. So I have to get up, and typically sometimes I can kind of make its way down, but not usually. Usually I have to get up, and the best way I can say is dislodge the food. And it's not throwing up. It's literally just getting something that's right here to dislodge. It's not fun. I want to eat like a normal person. I want for my husband when I'm eating to not be constantly worried that I'm not okay and that I'm getting food stuck. And it's just really frustrating. So I finally bit the bullet and told my doctor that to go ahead and do the referral to the gastroenterologist. And I went. And they said, this is really common, blah, 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 blah. So it's probably just a esophageal stricture, and what we'll do is schedule you for an upper GI endoscopy, and we'll stretch your throat. But we'll go all the way down into your stomach, down to your duodenum, and look at everything. And just in case that's not the issue, we'll figure out what's going on. I was like, awesome, because this is getting old. Like, there were some weeks where it was like I was having a flare, and it was a daily issue. It's too much. So I had that done last Monday, and they told me that it didn't appear that the issue was a stricture, but they went ahead and kind of stretched anyway for good measure. But they said that they saw a large amount of irritation, and they took a biopsy or two, and they would let me know when that was back. And they told me that I was not allowed to take naproxen anymore. And it's not, I wasn't taking it every day. I wasn't even taking it 3 or 4 times a week, which is what they thought how much I was taking it. I wasn't. But anyway, so they took the biopsy. A few days, the biopsy came back, and it came back positive for, surprise, surprise, the same esophageal issue that my brother has. Eosinophilic esophagitis, EOE. I didn't think I had the same thing as him, because how he describes his issue, it seemed to present differently than mine. And so I was just like, well, that's not what I have. It is. And it's genetic. A lot of the time it seems we have the same issue. It is a autoimmune disorder or disease where basically something that I'm eating or coming into contact with is causing the eosinophils, and I guess not everybody has eosinophils in their throat, or it's like a type of white blood cell, to just go crazy and create like a buildup in my throat, which makes food do that. And which also makes me, after I eat a lot of the times, I'm going, and it's because there's buildup. There's something there that is causing me this issue. Anyway, so that's where I am. And I even forget at this point how I even got off on this tangent, but that's medically what's going on with me right now. I have a follow-up appointment where we're going to talk about what I can do. They put me on Nexium, but all of the reading I've done on it says that they always put people on that type of drug first, but that it usually doesn't work. Why are we doing this? I guess because it's the cheapest option and the easiest option. So if it does work, yay. But more than likely, it's some type of food allergy, probably something that I love and eat almost every day. So I'm going to go back and ask for a lot of food allergy testing, and we'll just see. Maybe if it is something I love, maybe I can just eat it less. Because Emily's not going to give up like bread and cheese. I'm just not. Unless it got so bad that like I couldn't eat anymore. Emily loves some bread and cheese. As she talks about herself in the third person. So yeah, that's what's going on. Great. So, next project. The next thing that I worked on is this SAL that I talked about last time. Doing this with several people, which I mentioned last time. This is the Prairie Schooler Christmas Village. I'm doing it exactly as called for. I bought all the called for DMC. I'm not sure if I'll put the American flag on it. In fact, I know I'm not going to. And I know a lot of stitchers are extremely patriotic, and I do love my country. But I have issues. So I can't. It's not a place where I am currently. I hope to one day be there where I want to stitch an American flag on everything, but it's not where I am today. So I am doing this piece on a piece of Graveyard Mist, which I also showed last time, which is a beautiful cream with touches of light blue, which reminds me of winter snow. And this is how far I got. I wanted to completely finish that first house in the week that I had to work on it, but that just didn't happen. I have continued to have a lot of work stress, a lot of work events, and the medical stuff going on, like, because they put me under anesthesia for that procedure, and I don't think I stitched that day. Obviously, honestly, the anesthesia caused me to lose feeling in this part of my arm for a little while. Not my hands, not my whole arm, just here and here on both arms. But then it went away. Very odd. So yes, here are the threads for Christmas Village. They are beautiful. It's DMC. It's a very affordable stitch if you like it. We all know that some stitches with the called for fancy threads or silks can get a little pricey. Okay, next is what I started on Thursday for Megan McLemore's birthday. I have it in this beautiful bag from, actually I don't remember where I got this one. I won't even say. I think it's from Joanna 1966. I say, I won't even say. But I don't remember 100%. And this is Ellen Harrison 1889, or the Big Ass Deer Sow. And I'm stitching this on a piece of Fox and Rabbit Baked Clay 36 count, which is not the called for. The called for is ale. I wanted to switch it up to something a little bit less dark and mottled, but not too much. And I'm doing this with threads that I converted to from Coloring Cotton. You can call or email Coloring Cotton to get my conversion. Just say, I want Emily C's conversion for Ellen Harrison, and they will send it to you. This is almost all the threads. There's a dark brown and a pale yellowish green that's over there on the arm of my chair where I'm currently stitching on this. So there's those. And here's about 3 days worth of progress. I'm enjoying it. The yellowish green border isn't as lost on this as it appears in the camera. It pops a little bit better. The DMC that it calls for is more of a yellow, but in the picture it looked very this color, so that's why I chose this yellowish green. I really like it. I'm enjoying stitching on it. I think of this as more the boring part. I want to get down into more of the fun part with the house and stag, and I know some people would hate it, but I want to do all of that grass fill-in. Like, I'm so looking forward to it, especially because the color that I chose for that is probably one of my favorites because I love me a good ochre color. So yeah, I can't wait. What I'm going to work on next, I plan on working on that for a little bit because I am enjoying it. I may pull out something random in between now and the 24th, which is when I'm going to start the DutchCALSAL. So if you do not have this and you missed my last video, the video when I first got this book, people ran out and bought it on the internet. But I had already said that this is not a good way to stitch this chart. Although at the time it was the only way to stitch this chart, but not any longer, because the glorious McKenna at 1884 Stitchery already had her sights on and was working on this, and she has now released Katharina Adriana Lunison 1777. So you can go on 1884stitchery.com and you can either have a paper copy of this sent to you like I have here because I love working off some paper, or you can get a copy of the PDF. It's great. It's phenomenal. It is black and white. I know one person had messaged me and they're like, oh, I really wish that it was in color. I don't know if the PDF has a color option. I don't know. You can talk to McKenna about that or read on the website, but this is in black and white. But I don't mind a black and white chart. It's beautiful. I will show you the DMC conversion that I worked diligently on Friday. I have this in this bag because I saw this bag and it immediately made me think of this chart. Mainly it made me think of this book. It has a very kind of 70s vibe to it. And I was like, this is the bag for this. This is by Jessie at, did I leave your thing in here, Jessie? No, she is in Maine and she is Wild Berry, hold please. Wild Berry Stitching. You can find Jessie. She's on Instagram. She's on Etsy. I purchased this through Etsy. It is beautifully made. Has this beautiful little charm. I've bought a couple of bags from her. They're great. And they are worth me not doing it myself. My piece of linen came in for this piece. I have not unfolded it yet. I will do so for you guys. This I ordered direct from Seraphim. This is a large piece of Seraphim Fabrics Dusty Road. It's gorgeous. I love this fabric. And I knew it's what I wanted for this. So, in kitting this up, what I did is I pulled out all of my DMC stash. I have more than a full collection that I've been stitching for over 30 years. I'm 41. It's a lot of years. There was a hiatus in there with like college and early 20s years where I was doing way too cool stuff to be sitting around stitching. But I very quickly got back to it because I'm an introvert and going out and drinking and partying just isn't naturally my thing. But I digress. So I pulled out all of the DMC that I've collected over the years and have organized, and I pulled all of the called for colors, and I'll put those here. So that's how I laid out the called for colors and looked at them. And I was like, yeah, that ain't it. So I went color by color and looked at it, found where it was in the chart, took a flashlight because I like the image on the front of this book more than I like the image on the front of the chart. And you're like, Emily, they're the same thing. They're not. Like, look at the colors of the trees. The greens are different. This one's darker and earthier. I can see it. So I used the book and I got my little flashlight and I'm holding it on this, trying to get the truest color possible. And sometimes I'm making some executive decisions to lean something more one way than the other. So it's not exact, but I really am happy with it. So what I came up with after going color by color is a conversion that changes all but 10 colors. But that's the list of DMC. I will share my conversion. I have put a photo on Instagram. I will say since that photo, I have changed one color. I changed there was a bright yellow in this piece. It called for DMC 743. I changed it to a more mustard, and then I changed it to a more brown yellow. So that is now landed at DMC 729. So if you have Instagram and you want to zoom in and look at those right now, that's what I'm going with, except for that one color. So the colors that I landed on, and also I have been for years, I have all this DMC upstairs, all this DMC, but I have been well, let's just go to the store and buy new DMC kind of person. So I'm going to try to embody the waste not, want not philosophy for 2024. I don't need to go buy DMC. This philosophy, this one, 2024. Trying to wrap my head around it early. So that's why when you look at this DMC, you're going to be like, Emily, what is going on? Because some of this DMC was bobbinated from when I was like probably 13 years old. It's some old DMC. Like, these are some of the bobbins that I took colors off of. Yeah. Not even the same, old school. I don't even think that's my handwriting. Anyway, so I'm going to use it up. Waste not, want not, use it up, wear it out. I'm there. In a time of inflation like we're in right now, waste not, want not. So these are the colors. This color didn't change. This is the dress color, which I really like. I'm not a pink person, but I really like it. So I'm excited. I'm starting this on the 24th, the day after Thanksgiving. I don't Black Friday shop anymore. I used to go all the time with my sister, and that was something we did. Now I would rather jump off of a tall building than do that. I'll buy a few things online, but yeah. So, Dusty Road in these colors. I'm pumped. Okay, let's go back to my list and okay, I want to show you this next. If you watch Prims on Greenway, Lisa, you've already seen this, but she is a sweetheart who offered a while ago to make this into a drum for me. This is a Stacy Nash piece. This is the Dark Horse drum. And I stitched it on with the called for colors on, this is a piece of Lakeside. I can't remember. I love it. Something I will say about this, and Lisa, I hope you're watching, I did some changes to this house. Because when you're stitching the house, if you have a brain like mine and you want everything to be symmetrical and you want the crown centered above the window and the door and for everything to be equal, really look at it before you start stitching it because it's not that way on the chart. I fixed it. Like I basically, it's been so long since I stitched it. I think I stitched the crown and then maybe I stitched down and put things centered and then worked out from there. And then filled in all of this fill in, but it was worth doing, but a little tedious. If you're like me, and that's important, that things are symmetrical, yeah. I had this fabric and sent it to her as an option to use, and I absolutely love it. It had Tuesday Mornings is a store that there's not as many of anymore, and they have a little crafting section, and I had bought a layer cake that had all fabrics like this in it, and I thought I will use that, and that's where this came from. I am enamored with this. I love it so much. So I've got to figure out where I'm going to put it. For right now, I think it's going to go over there. And it's been in front of my television, like off to the side, where I can see it when I'm watching TV, because I love it so much. She sent me the sweetest card. And she also sent me, she showed in her last video, these acorns that she had made. And she sent me one. So I'm really excited about that too. She just does all these perfect little tiny hand stitches. I love it. Okay. Next, let's do the winner for this. Not this piece, but the chart for this piece. The comment picker's working. I drew a winner. So the person that is getting this, and they don't have to kill another tree, is Gwyneth Hall. And I will pop where you won right here on the screen. She said, save a tree, the birds will appreciate it. So Gwyneth, comment, I'll comment under your comment. You reach out to me to emilysavaro@gmail.com or on Instagram if you're on there, and let me know your mailing address and I'll get this out to you with a couple of extra little goodies. So that is done. Congrats, Gwyneth. So appreciated that everybody is helping me save a tree. Just seemed like the thing to do. So that's a lot of paper. Let's do another giveaway. I am doing this again with Avika at Mad for Minders, and she is just the greatest person in the world to continue to partner with me and do this. So at this point, I think everybody knows who Avika is and that she runs this with her daughter and their little store of Mad for Minders, which is way more than just minders now. They have wooden minders and resin minders and all kinds of other cross-stitch supplies like charts and everything. So Avika has offered again to give someone 2 free minders that wins the giveaway. So again, what we're going to do is you go to Mad for Minders Etsy shop, which I will link down below. or you can just go to Etsy and type in Mad for Minders and dig through them all and be like, my favorite minder is. So I will look for my favorite minder is the next time I do a video, and that's what I will use to choose a winner. I'm fighting with this real quick. Hold on. Here are a couple of minders that I just have sitting down here below me that I like and use a lot, that I have from when I was, magnets flying everywhere, when I was doing Dark October stitching. But also, here is her card. Let's put it in front of my face. Maybe it, there we go. Maybe not. Anyway, Mad for Minders. She's the best. This Daz is her daughter. And we will choose a winner, and they will send minders out to that person. But go forth. Look at minders. There's more than 2 that you like. So maybe you want to go ahead and buy a couple. And let's see. I'm excited about that. Like I said, love partnering with her. It's lots of fun. What else am I excited about? For years, I have wanted to do one of the Modern Folk Embroidery yearly sales. And every year, like, I've watched other people work on them, and I'm like, oh, like, 'cause he's a genius. They're just great. But none of them so far have I looked at and been like, that's the one, where it just speaks to me. This year, the next year, 2024, is speaking directly to me. I'll put a picture of it right here. Now, this is the colorway that particularly spoke to me, although I'm not doing exactly this, of course. But it was the placement of the black in this one with another color that made me go, yeah. And there's not an element in the one for next year that I'm not drawn to, that I don't love. The saying that's on it, what is it? Because I don't have it right in front of me. I think it's Tempus Fugit, which Latin's a lost language. That's probably nowhere near the way that they would have wanted it pronounced. But it basically means time flies. And one of the things that also draws me to that is a lot of times on the end of that saying, you'll see added on memento mori, which is an aesthetic that I'm very drawn to. The whole memento mori, like, look, dark academia, I'm there. But that means time flies, remember death. Basically, seize the day, live each day like it's your last one on earth. Just enjoy your life. And all of the elements of the design are just beautiful. It's the stag and the squirrels and then the large clock. I'm a sucker for clocks. I'm in. So I have been trying to figure out what threads that I would use. So I went through and looked at all of my threads, and I said, well, I know what I'm using as my black. It's not going to be the most inexpensive choice, but I know what I'm using as my black. So I went through, and because it is my favorite black, I already have quite a few Classic Colorworks black coffee. So I have these. I love this black because it's not a true black. It's like a gunmetal mottled, variegated, and it's perfect. It's a perfect black to me for when you don't want a true black. So I'm going to use this. And then there's a part of my brain that says, if you're going to use Classic Colorworks black coffee, your second color has to be Classic Colorworks. It's the way my brain works. So I went through and I actually was on 1, 2, 3 Stitch because I'm fairly familiar with the Classic Colorworks line. So I'm just scrolling through and I'm like, that one. And I put it in my cart. And I'm like, that one. I put it in my cart. And I was going to decide on one other color based on what I had put in there. And what I did was kind of carefully curate a group of colors that work fantastically together. And it hit me like a ton of bricks that I didn't have to just choose one of them. So I ordered a couple of all of the ones that I chose, and one of which I had in stash. The other ones I'm familiar with but didn't have in stash. One of the ones I had was Classic Colorworks Peapod. So this yellowy green, shades of ochre, like colors like this is where we're at. Like I bought a polywog, and I bought a I won't even try to remember, but it's a variety. Like I bought a hayride. Like there's a variety of those in that color family. It's just gonna feel like a warm autumn hug, and I'm pretty excited. So that's me nerding and geeking out over thread colors for just a moment. So I'm pretty psyched. I will, when those come in, I will share them next time. I already think that I'm going to want a mildly modeled fabric and make the threads the star of the show. So we know what that means. I'm probably going to stitch it on Picture This Plus Bramble. It's what I do because it's beautiful and slightly modeled, but just fades into the background and lets the threads be the show. But you're still like, that's a nice fabric. So there we go. It is what it is. Back to, well, I think I talked about everything. Go me. Progress, conversion haul, the modern folk embroidery. And I believe the name of that sal is yeah, I don't remember. Right out of my head. So, oh, I bought this bag. Speaking of Joanna 1966, she posted this one and it spoke to my little 1970s heart and my love of blues and greens and oranges. I love me some orange. So yeah, that was immediately purchased and came home to me, but you know, I'm gonna try to dial that back a bit from here on out. I don't need anything. I don't need it. I don't. I did need this mug that Olivia got me. Love it. I mean, it's fantastic. And that's some good coffee, but I need to heat it up. Let's do plants, and then I have one more little extra. But before that, other things that I've been into lately. Speaking of Olivia and Megan McLemore, they had been talking about watching the horror show, The Fall of the House of Usher. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't like it. I think that I didn't watch any of the trailers, and I think I thought that it was going to be more like historical fiction and more true to original Poe. I love Poe. When I was a little kid, my brother used to read me Edgar Allan Poe like a little kid. Too little to be being read Edgar Allan Poe to. Too little to be being read the William Faulkner stories that he read to me as well. But, you know, that's one reason Emily is probably a little different. But I love Edgar Allan Poe. So they were talking about it, and they were talking about how good it was. And I thought, well, Jim's gone this weekend, which he is. He's gone. He comes back in a few hours, actually. But he's been gone since Friday morning, celebrating his dad's 70th birthday. It was a guy's trip. That's why I didn't go. They went golfing. Jim doesn't golf, but his dad does. So I had this whole weekend to myself, except for when other things had been planned for me. And so I binged it. Like, it took me a couple of nights and I binged it because it's only 8 episodes. It was so freaking good. If you enjoy Edgar Allan Poe, the references are top notch. How they tied, each episode was like a different story that they then tied together into this overarching story of the Usher family and modernized it. I enjoyed it. It's a little gory. And definitely has its shocking moments. So if that's not your thing, don't watch it. Do not watch it. Don't watch it with your kids. Definitely don't watch it with your kids. Unless y'all have a really, really progressive relationship and they're much older teens. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I almost wish I could forget I watched it and go back and watch it again. Yeah, it was good. Plants. I am not, okay, I still love plants, but I haven't bought a plant and I don't know when, because one of the things about me is I keep doing this Flosstube episode where I get started telling you guys something and then I'm like, but before I dive into that, let me explain why. In the past year, I have come to some realizations about myself and my personality and my person. That is nothing new per se. It's things I've always known about myself, but it's defining it in a way that makes me go, that's why I'm like that. That makes sense. This is a good explanation of me as a person. I went to a court improvement training, and I think I've spoke about this already, where a specialist, a doctor was there from the Marcus Institute of Atlanta, and he was talking about autism and the autism spectrum. And I did a bunch of preparation reading and tests before, just because that's me and I'm a big nerd. And it pretty much opened up to me that while I'm not diagnosed with autism in any way, I am extremely neurodiverse. Extremely. And it just makes a lot of the things that I do and the way that I do things and the sensory issues that I have with things makes so much more sense. It just makes me understand myself more. And it makes me love myself a little more. So yeah, if you've ever thought that about yourself, that you're a little quirky, maybe do some of the neurodiversity or ASD testing that's free online, and it might kind of open some doors and windows in your mind to realize that maybe that's what's been going on since birth. But all that to say, that's one reason that when I discover a hobby that I love, I learn everything about it. Everything about it. I read everything. I learn Latin names for plants. I just take it higher to a level than I should. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But I go 110% in on a hobby. And on this one in particular, it probably wasn't the healthiest. So in retrospect, I'm seeing that I because this is a hobby where they take a lot of care, and pests are a thing, and maintaining them is a thing. I have dialed it back tremendously. I still have a shit ton of plants. Don't get me wrong. But I haven't bought a new one and I don't know when, nor do I have the urge to. I'm very happy with my current collection and could still dial it back some. But it really made me learning all of that about myself made me look at this particular hobby and go, huh, well, there you go. But here's some plants I'm enjoying right now. This is my tricolor Dracaena. This is an easy to find plant. I bought this one in this pot at a Home Depot about a year ago. And it's beautiful. It is colored like an expensive rare plant, even though it's not. You can buy this plant for $12.98 with the pot usually. And that's American dollars. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful variegated plant that is inexpensive. And it has just grown and grown and grown. It is a happy little dude. This is also a plant that you can find. I bought this one, I believe, at a Home Depot. And I'm loving it because of the growth. If a certain stitcher recognizes this pot, yes, you did send this to me. And this has been living in it for quite some time now. But this is a Mandula pothos. There's lots of different kinds of pothos, or now called epiprimnum. See, there it is. There's the learning everything. Technically now it's not a pothos, it's an epiprimnum. And they just have these beautifully mottled heart-shaped leaves. I have killed one of these. Some varieties of it can have an extreme amount of white on the leaves, which makes it harder for the plant to photosynthesize and live. I mean, that's just the long and short of it. But so I've killed one of these, but this one has done extremely well. I bought this one like a little $5.98 plant from Home Depot, and all these tendrils are new growth. This whole vine is new growth. A lot of this is new growth. I have had it on the bookshelf over there underneath an Amazon grow light that I just keep on that shelf. I turn it on during the day, and the plants that are in there freaking love it, as is evidenced by this Mandula pothos, because it has exploded since I put that light there. It's living its best life. Last one, and that's just because this plant's a little weirdo, and I love it. I love this plant. It doesn't grow a lot. It's a slow grower, and you can't find it at Home Depot or Lowe's. I bought this at a specialty plant shop. This is also an epiprimnum, which is a type of pothos, but this is an Epiprimnum aureum Shangri-La. So Epiprimnum Shangri-La is what you would look up if you were interested in one of these. It looks like steamed spinach. Like, these are they are meant to be this way. Curled up and hard and wrinkly. And it is just the coolest little weirdo in the world. I love it. It lives under the same grow light because, well, occasionally, essentially what this plant was a whole bunch of little rooted cuttings. And every now and then, like, some of these cuttings just weren't rooted very well, and they come out. But then you can see this one it's grown tremendously. So it's doing well, but it's one that must be hard to root because it's so fragile and petite. I mean, look at that. Doesn't like a lot of water. You have to very carefully water that plant. If it stays wet, the roots will rot immediately. And if it stays too dry, these little fragile roots will dry up immediately. So you've got to kind of very carefully find that balance, which I'm still working on. Although I've had that one for a hot minute. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about today, and stitching is way in the past. So if you're done with stitching, go. Several people have asked me through private messages or comments, you have beautiful skin. what do you do? Which, thank you. I think that there are people with way much more beautiful skin than I have. But I, a few years ago, got serious about my skincare because I am 41 now. And I don't plan on ever having any type of cosmetic surgery or anything like that. And this is the skin I've got. And I'm just going to take care of it. So I, yet again, learned a ridiculous amount about skincare. Do you see a trend? So I watched tons of videos. I did a lot of reading. I learned a lot. But then also sensory issues. So I'm going to show you some products. And some of them, I've chosen the product that is best for me because of sensory issues. I have to have something with a smell that I like and a texture that I like, or I'm not going to use it because I can't handle it. So with that said, there have been many products that have worked well for my face that I have stopped using because the smell or something like that, like it's too tacky, or like, say for example, rosehip oil. Rosehip oil is a fantastic oil for your face. If you have issues with uneven coloration or even like wrinkles or anything like that, scarring, rosehip oil is where it's at. Fresh rosehip oil, I'm great with. I love it. It has a weird smell, but I can wrap my head around it. It's only fresh, and some people keep it in their fridge for this reason, for like this amount of time. And once it hits here, it kind of starts smelling a little fishy. Some people I don't think are as hypersensitive to that as I am. And they're like, I don't smell it, Emily. I smell it. And I can't have it on my face. So if I ever like had an issue where I had to have something removed off of my face and there was some scarring or discoloration, I would buy it again, 100%. And I would use that. But I would buy it from a seller that I trusted. So I'll tell you which things I buy on eBay. Because some of these are expensive products. But rosehip oil I would buy at like a local high-end beauty store. Wouldn't buy it at TJ Maxx. It's been sitting on the shelf too long. Buy it somewhere where it's new stock and you can pop that seal and use it. But anyway, so I don't use all of this every day, but I will kind of walk you through what I use normally. The first thing is, like, some of these are expensive, some of these aren't. This is not expensive. I started buying this at Target and fell in love with it, and they stopped selling it at my local Target. So now I buy it on Amazon, which is why there is a big sticker on the front of the bottle. This is my daily cleanser. This is Yes to Cucumbers Daily Gentle Milk Cleanser for sensitive skin. Like I said, I buy this on Amazon. It's about time for a new bottle. This I use morning and night. When I wake up in the morning, I wash my face with this. Before I go to bed at night, I wash my face with this. If you're wearing makeup, I'm between types of cleansing balms right now. But I recommend that you use, if you like, especially, I don't wear makeup except for on my eyes. I wear eye makeup and that's it. I have no makeup on my skin. So in order to get eye makeup off, I use a cleansing balm, which, like I said, I need to buy something different of because I don't really like the one that I'm using right now, which is why I'm not showing it to you. But you can massage off that makeup and then you can use this to remove all the oils. Okay. Daytime. I don't use this every day. Some days I feel like my skin needs a little bit of an extra, like brightening. And this you can also buy at Target. This is not super expensive. This is a toner with glycolic acid. and it's the Pixie Glow Tonic. I just put a little bit on like a little cotton circle and wipe my face down with it. And glycolic acid helps with like giving you a smooth face texture and kind of a glow. I love this stuff. I've went through lots of bottles. During the winter months, or sparingly in the summer, I do a little bit of a moisturizer on my face, and then I do my eye makeup and I'm out the door. I have a favorite moisturizer for that. They don't sell it locally. I have to order it. I'm gonna order me some more of it. It is this. It's the Hey Honey moisturizer. If you have sensitive skin, if you don't want your pores clogged by moisturizer, if you have did I already say sensitive skin? If you have like redness occasionally, like a little unevenness, it's not cheap, but it takes forever to use it all. So with a lot of these, you have to think that these products you're using in very, very tiny like amounts. So while they look expensive, like you use them for like a really long time before it's time for a new one. So this is my favorite daytime moisturizer, hands down. I just bought this one, trying to find a local alternative that I could just go buy instead of order. I like it, but I'm not sure my skin likes it. I've had a couple of little pimples here and there, but I'm going to keep using it. This is Origin's Ginseng Ultra Hydrating Energy Boosting Cream. I bought this in my local Ulta. I like it because sensory issues, it smells amazing. It smells like oranges in summertime. And it's a little tacky, but it blends in really well. I'm wearing it now. Like this is what I put on my face after I washed it earlier. Okay. Non-daytime stuff. So speaking of breakouts, I had really, really bad skin when I was in high school. Junior high was the worst. Junior high, high school, and college. Pretty much until I was old enough to put myself on birth control, because the dermatologist wanted to put me on birth control and my mom said, absolutely not, no daughter of mine. When I got on birth control, it leveled things out. But bad skin. I still am like genetically predisposed to that. So like when my hormones are a little off, or I put something on my skin that, because it is sensitive, that maybe it doesn't like, I'll get a pimple. This is my favorite thing for pimples. It's not cheap, but this is maybe my second bottle. It takes forever to go through it. Just a little drop is all you need. This is Sunday Riley's UFO. It's green. It's an ultra clarifying acne treatment face oil for the management and prevention of acne and blackheads. 1.5% salicylic acid, medicated dry oil, clears congested pores. My husband thinks this is a miracle oil, meaning I tell him to put it on when he gets something, and he thinks that it's just going to immediately make it go away. It doesn't, especially because he waits until something is too bad to put this on it. But if you see something coming up and you put a little dab on there, I put it on before I go to bed at night. Sometimes if it's bad when I wake up in the morning, I'll put a little dab on and go to work. I love this stuff. This. I use this maybe about once a month. I buy one of these maybe once a year, every year and a half, because there's 15 in here. I talked about glycolic acid before with this. and that it helps kind of like resurface and smooth your complexion. These are little, let's open it up. These are little individually packaged like cloths that are 10% glycolic acid. And the once a month when I do it, like maybe like a Friday night or a Saturday night, I will, avoiding my eyes because you don't want to like put any of this stuff really directly in your eyeball. Don't do that. I like scrub it everywhere on my face, around through here. I do, you know, my neck and all the way down because it's a big cloth, and kind of let that soak in before I continue the rest of my skincare regimen at night. After I wash my face, I do this once a month. It's good stuff. Only like 2 more things, I promise. And like I said, not that like that's a once a month thing. This is a deep in the winter time. Your skin is not happy. It's dry and you look like a Victorian child with the plague. That's when you use this. This is, in fact, this is pretty much, there's just a little bit left in here. This is Kiehl's Midnight Recovery Concentrate. It's a little 1/2 ounce bottle. This smells like calmness in a bottle. It's like lavender and herbs. It's an oil. If I'm really stressed out, sometimes I'll put this on my face at night because just the smell and the feel of it, it's good stuff. So yes, I will put this on after I wash my face first and let this kind of soak in. And then the last thing I do before I go to bed at night, I try to do this every night. You know, all of us forget sometimes, is this. This is almost gone. I need to buy another thing of this. This is not cheap. You can find drugstore dupes of this if you don't have the sensory issues that I have. But this is the retinol night cream that I have found that doesn't make me want, like, because they feel so heavy on your face and they feel sticky and they smell weird. This one I like. I buy it on eBay because it's cheaper. And I have bought them, like the original before is how I found this. So it's the same stuff that I'm getting because it smells the same, it does the same, has the same texture. This is Kate Somerville. It's a retinol vitamin C moisturizer. It also smells like oranges. You can see there's a trend with what I can tolerate on my face. This is the best nighttime moisturizer that I have found for my skin. It is almost completely gone. I definitely need to buy some more. So that is it, guys. That is my skincare routine. It may seem like a lot. If you only want to start off with a couple of things, I would say a simple milk cleanser, a good nighttime moisturizer, and a daytime moisturizer. But remember, I really recommend the Hey Honey. If you have acne issues, maybe shell out for one of these. The glycolic acid is just if that's something that you want to invest in, the resurfacing, you don't have to do that. This is a pure luxury item. And again, I'm not a skincare professional. I'm not an esthetician. If any of these products like react poorly on you, don't blame me. Everybody's skin is different. Everybody's genetic makeup is different. You just have to learn what works best for you. This is what I have learned works best for me after multiple years of kind of curating my system. And as I grow older and my skin changes, I will probably have to change with that. But right now, this is where we're at. But like I said, I don't wear any makeup other than eye makeup. I've been doing this for probably since 2019. So from my late 30s until now. That's what I do. If anybody has any further questions, feel free to comment. Feel free to reach out to me via my email, via Instagram. I enjoy interacting with people. It brings me joy. If you absolutely hated this, sorry. If you have the urge to tell me you hated this, I don't care. I mean that in the nicest way possible. I don't understand people's need to tell you when they don't like something. Like, oh, go watch somebody else's channel. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm going to put all this stuff away that I drug out to show you guys. I'm going to settle in and do some more stitching on Ellen Harrison. I'm going to watch some TV. And wait for Jim to come home. My sweet, sweet Jim. Love you guys. See you next time. Don't forget to sign up for the giveaway for Mad for Minders. My favorite minder is, put it down below. Let's support Evika and Daz in their shop because they're the bomb and we don't want them to go anywhere. Y'all have a great, great November. We'll probably see you after Thanksgiving. See you then.